What if I told you that everything you believe to be real is merely a shadow cast by a deeper, hidden realm of consciousness? There is a place beyond thought, beyond the noise of your mind, beyond the confines of the five senses, a realm where time dissolves, duality fades, and the true self awakens. It is not found in books or words. It cannot be taught, only remembered. And once you've touched it, nothing will ever feel the same. This is the sacred realm of higher consciousness. And through a forgotten art known as meditative ascent, sages, mystics, and seers of ancient worlds unlocked the vast, infinite intelligence that lies dormant within all of us. But modern life has veiled this path. We scroll, we worry, we chase, and we forget. Forget that beneath the surface of our thoughts lies a deeper awareness, a presence so still, so radiant, it's been called the eye of God within man. In this video, we are not simply going to talk about meditation. We are going to dive into the esoteric heart of it, exploring what the ancients knew and what modern science is only beginning to remember. We'll journey through secret scrolls and lost temples, explore mystical states once reserved for initiated adepts, and reveal the true power of meditation as a gateway to transcendent consciousness. You'll discover how meditation was originally used not for relaxation, but for liberation from the illusion of reality. The sacred science of ascending the inner ladder to higher realms of awareness, and practical methods you can begin using today to awaken that sleeping spark of divinity within you. So take a breath, still your thoughts, and prepare to remember who and what you truly are. Because the path to higher consciousness does not begin outside of you, it begins within. Long before meditation became a modern wellness trend, long before it was reduced to breathing exercises and mindfulness apps, it was known by another name: the royal path. In Sanskrit, Raja Yoga. In Egypt, Sekhem Smai Tawi. In Hermetic circles, the ascent of the soul. This was no casual practice. It was an initiation. From the hidden chambers of ancient Tibet to the sun-drenched temples of Kemet, entering deep states of consciousness was seen as a sacred rite, one that allowed the seeker to pierce the veil between worlds. The ancient Egyptians spoke of the Ka and Ba, aspects of the soul that could only be united through inner stillness and meditative alignment. In Vedic India, sages meditated not to quiet the mind, but to reach samadhi, a complete merging with the absolute, the formless Brahman. And the Gnostics, early mystics persecuted for their secrets, spoke of gnosis, a direct experiential knowledge of the divine that could only be accessed by silencing the outer world. Even the Christian desert fathers, forgotten by most today, withdrew into the wilderness not for escape, but for deep contemplative communion. To listen, they said, to the silence where God speaks. Yet all these paths shared something profound in common. They treated the mind not as the master, but as the veil. They viewed the world not as reality, but as a projection. And they saw meditation not as escape, but as a return. Return to what? To the source? To the inner temple, where the true self, higher self, resides in eternal stillness. This sacred knowledge, however, did not survive untouched. As empires rose and dogmas calcified, the mystical heart of meditation was buried beneath ritual, fear, and control. What was once a map to divine union became a set of moral laws. What was once an inward journey became an outward religion. The great library of Alexandria, where scrolls on inner alchemy and consciousness were kept, was burned. Mystic texts were declared heresy, and those who dared to speak of the higher world within were silenced or branded mad. And so, what was once sacred became secret, but not lost. Whispers of it survived in the cryptic teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, in the breath techniques of Taoist immortals, in the symbolic language of the tarot, and in the quiet lineages of yogis, monks, and adepts who passed the torch from soul to soul, generation after generation. And today, that torch is being relit. In a world consumed by noise, some are hearing the silent call again, a deep remembering, a pull not toward the heavens above, but the sky within. You see, this isn't about adopting a belief. It's about unlearning everything that blocks you from the direct, mystical experience of your infinite self. Because you are not the wave, you are the ocean. And meditation, when understood in its true ancient form, is the key that opens that inner sea. To understand higher consciousness meditation, we must journey inward, not just into the mind, but into the architecture of consciousness itself. Imagine consciousness as a vast temple, layered in sacred chambers. Most dwell only in the outer courtyards, where thoughts, emotions, and sensory inputs echo endlessly like the clamor of pilgrims. But beyond this surface noise, behind the veils of illusion, lies the sanctum sanctorum, your eternal self, the silent witness, the ever-present I am. This inner sanctum is not reached by thinking harder or believing more, but by unbecoming all that you are not. Higher consciousness meditation is the ancient art of passing through these veils, of stilling the winds of thought until the eternal sky within becomes clear and vast. In this space, the meditator becomes the mountain, unmoved, aware, deeply rooted in being. Ancient mystics from Egypt to Tibet understood this process not as a practice, but as a sacred return, homecoming. The Upanishads describe it as neti neti, not this, a peeling away of layers. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not even the thoughts or desires that pass through me. So what remains? Pure consciousness, silent, radiant, formless. The self that witnesses all, yet is untouched by any. To approach this realm, you must first understand that the ordinary mind is like a mirror shattered into 1,000 fragments, each piece reflecting a distorted view of reality. Meditation is the gentle art of restoring the mirror to wholeness, not by force, but by stillness. One powerful metaphor used by the Hermetic initiates is that of divine inversion. They believed that true awareness begins when the senses are reversed, when attention is turned inward, like a river flowing back to its source. This is echoed in Taoist inner alchemy, where practitioners speak of returning the Shen, or spirit, to its origin. This inversion is not passive. It is a heroic act. It requires the will to sit amidst the chaos of your mind without judgment, to observe thoughts like passing clouds, and to resist the urge to chase or control them. Over time, the storm begins to subside. Then, something remarkable happens. Awareness begins to observe itself. This is the threshold, where ordinary meditation becomes higher meditation. You are no longer just sitting with your thoughts. You are dissolving the illusion that you are your thoughts at all. And in that dissolution, you begin to taste the eternal, what the Sufis called baka, the state beyond ego and form, where the drop merges with the ocean and remembers it was never separate. But beware, this is also where many seekers falter. The ego, sensing its dissolution, may panic. It may throw distractions, resistance, and even mystical fantasies to keep you anchored in the lower chambers. This is why many traditions speak of the guardian at the threshold, not a demon outside, but the shadow within. To pass beyond, you must cultivate what the Buddhists call equanimity, a serene detachment that neither clings nor resists. You become the still flame, unwavering in the winds of experience. Higher consciousness meditation is not an escape from the world. It is a descent into the deeper truth that underlies all appearances. It is the process of refining your awareness until it becomes a pure vessel for the infinite. It is a death and a rebirth, the death of the false self and the rebirth of the true self. And this, dear seeker, is only the beginning. As you venture deeper into higher consciousness meditation, you begin to encounter the paradoxes that have confounded sages for millennia. How can something so vast, so all-encompassing, arise from the silence within? How can the self be both the watcher and the watched, the wave and the ocean? These questions are not meant to be solved by the rational mind, but to be lived, experienced in the unfolding of your inner journey. Consider the paradox of non-duality. Ancient sages taught that the ultimate reality is neither one nor many. It is beyond the grasp of categories altogether. It is the source from which duality itself arises and into which it dissolves. Meditation, then, is a dance on this razor's edge. On one hand, you cultivate focus, discipline, and a firm anchor in the present moment. On the other hand, you surrender all striving, letting go of effort and expectation. This balance is elusive. Push too hard, and the mind rebels. Surrender too much, and you drift into dullness or sleep. The Taoists described this tension as the interplay between Jing, vital essence, and Shen, spirit. In meditation, you refine Jing, your energy, and awaken Shen, the luminous consciousness that illuminates all. Another hidden dimension lies in the symbolism encoded in ancient meditation postures and rituals. The lotus position, the mudras, hand gestures, the chanting of mantras. These are not arbitrary, but keys to aligning your subtle energy system, awakening the dormant power within. The ancient yogis spoke of Kundalini, the serpent power coiled at the base of the spine. As you settle into higher meditation, this energy begins to rise, unlocking chakras, energy centers, that open new doors of perception. But awakening Kundalini is no casual affair. Without guidance and preparation, the surge of energy can be overwhelming or destabilizing. This is why many esoteric traditions emphasize the importance of ethical discipline, purification, and gradual training, reminding us that spiritual awakening is as much about integration as it is about expansion. There are also common myths to dispel. Higher consciousness meditation is not about escaping reality or becoming permanently blissful. The so-called enlightenment that many seek is not a mystical high, but profound clarity, seeing through illusions and attachments while remaining fully present with life's complexities. It is not an individual conquest, but a sacred participation in the unfolding cosmic mystery. To meditate is to align with the living pulse of the universe itself, the anima mundi, the soul of the world. An obscure but powerful teaching from the Hermetic corpus says, "As above, so below. As within, so without." Your inner ascent reflects the outer reality. The higher consciousness you cultivate within resonates outwards, transforming your perception of the world and your role in it. Lastly, there is a lesser-known but profound insight. Higher consciousness is not a fixed state to be attained, but a dynamic process of becoming. It is like tuning a divine instrument. Each meditation adjusts your inner frequency, harmonizing you with higher dimensions of existence. And as your awareness expands, so does your sense of identity. From the isolated ego to the cosmic self, you begin to realize that you are not separate from the sacred dance of existence, but a vital note in its eternal symphony. The secrets of higher consciousness meditation are not meant to be locked away in dusty tomes or lofty philosophies. They are living truths, waiting to be embodied in your daily life. But how does one begin this inner alchemy? How do you awaken the dormant brilliance within, step by step, moment by moment? First, prepare your sacred space. This does not require grand temples or elaborate altars, only a quiet corner where you can retreat undisturbed. Light a candle, burn incense or sage if you wish, and sit comfortably, grounding yourself in the present. Begin with your breath, the ancient bridge between body and spirit. Inhale deeply through the nose, filling your lungs slowly, expanding your belly, then your chest. Exhale gently, releasing tension, surrendering resistance. This conscious breathing is the gateway to stillness. Next, employ a simple but potent mantra, a word or phrase charged with meaning. It can be something ancient like Om or So Hum, I am that, or a personal affirmation such as I am light or peace flows through me. Repeat this mantra silently or aloud, allowing it to dissolve mental chatter like ripples calming on a lake. As you settle deeper, visualize your awareness expanding beyond the confines of your body, like a radiant sunbeam piercing through the darkness. Feel yourself connected to the vast web of life, to the pulse of the cosmos. At this stage, you might notice subtle sensations, a warmth rising from your spine, a gentle buzzing in your limbs, or a quiet clarity in the mind. These are signs your energy is awakening. To cultivate this, you can integrate the practice of chakra tuning, focusing attention on each energy center from the root to the crown, envisioning them as glowing spheres of light, spinning and harmonizing. Spend a few moments with each, breathing into it, inviting balance and flow. Another transformative technique is mindful presence. Throughout your day, pause to reconnect with your breath and surroundings. Notice the texture of the air, the play of light, and the rhythm of your heartbeat. These moments anchor higher consciousness not just in meditation, but in the living flow of your existence. Obstacles will arise. Restless minds, physical discomfort, doubt, or distraction. When this happens, gently acknowledge the resistance without judgment, returning to your breath or mantra. Remember, this path is not about forcing or rushing, but about patient surrender and curiosity. If possible, seek out guidance, a teacher, a community, or trusted texts to support your unfolding journey. Ancient traditions have always emphasized the role of initiation and lineage to safeguard seekers from missteps and deepen their understanding. Ultimately, higher consciousness meditation is a practice of both expansion and grounding. It invites you to rise above limiting patterns while embodying profound peace, compassion, and wisdom in every moment. As your practice matures, you may notice shifts not only in your inner landscape, but also in your relationships, creativity, and sense of purpose. The veil between the mundane and the sacred thins, revealing the luminous thread connecting all life. We have walked together through the ancient corridors of higher consciousness meditation, a path carved by sages, mystics, and seekers whose whispers echo across time. This sacred practice is more than relaxation or focus. It is a profound awakening, a rekindling of the divine spark hidden within each soul. To meditate with true depth is to step beyond the illusions of separation and enter the boundless realm where spirit and matter dance as one. Yet this is no final destination, but an eternal invitation. Higher consciousness is a living mystery, unfolding, shifting, expanding with each breath you take, each moment you choose to awaken. In this space, you become the alchemist of your own experience, transmuting fear into courage, ignorance into wisdom, and fragmentation into wholeness. You begin to see that the sacred is not somewhere out there, but here, within the very fabric of your being. So will you accept this call? Will you allow yourself to dive deeper into the hidden currents of existence and emerge transformed? The path of higher consciousness meditation is not easy. It asks for devotion, patience, and humility, but the rewards are ineffable. Clarity, peace, insight, and a profound connection to the infinite. As you leave this video, I invite you to carry this spark with you. Begin your practice, however small, and watch as the veil lifts, revealing a world vibrant with meaning and magic. If this journey has stirred something within you, share your thoughts below, or ask questions that call to your heart. Together, we walk this path, seekers awakening to the eternal light within. Remember, the greatest mysteries often lie just beyond the edge of what we think we know. Step beyond. Explore. Transformation. The universe awaits your awakening.